Hey guys, welcome to the BuiltLean podcast. I'm Mark Perry, the creator of BuiltLean, which helps busy men with demanding careers get lean, strong, and functionally fit with exceptional energy. So the podcast you're about to hear is a private conversation between Leigh Walters and myself. I was checking in with Leigh after he completed the BuiltLean program. Leigh is in his 50s and completely transformed his body and developed an exceptional mindset. I'm excited for you to listen to this because there's a lot you can take away. If you want to transform your body or simply get to the next level, this is pure gold. I want to thank Leigh for allowing me to publish this private conversation and share it with you. So here it is. How are you doing?
Exceptionally well. Yourself?
Awesome. I'm doing great. It's great to speak with you, man. It's been a little while, but I've of course been checking out my notes and obviously keeping up on how everything's been going with you. And so I was hoping, if it's cool with you, just to kind of like pick your brain, hear how you're doing, and see if I could be helpful.
Yeah, look, everything's going really, really well.
Okay.
I've got the right mindset. Look, you gave me the tools. They were easy to use. Pick the right mindset. There you go. The rest of it's just history. It's going to happen. It's just ABC. It's one foot in front of the other. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Right. One. No, you're right. And so, and I mean that's obviously what we chatted about. And so, like, in terms of the specific results you've seen, I'm kind of curious to hear what. Obviously, you lost about 20 pounds, or I'm kind of curious to hear what results you've seen.
4 of the 6-pack, and a lot of loose skin. Like, I didn't expect the skin to be as loose as it is for as long as it was, but I guess as you get older, it takes a lot of elasticity to kind of actually lose that extra little bit of you lose elasticity in your skin. So that'll come. Just keep going. I'll get the 6-pack eventually. The change in my habits have been incredible.
So, talk to me more about that.
Righto. Before, like a block of chocolate or a cake of chocolate, which is probably about 300 or 400 grams, I would eat one of those in a sitting, no questions asked, and would not share. Now I can't even stomach the look of chocolate. I don't eat any cakes or pastries. If I have any bit of cake, it'll be only what my mother's cooked because she's 73 years of age and she's offended if I don't eat at least one piece of her cake. Outside that, it's just nuts, bit of popcorn, and that's the go-tos. And I'm happy with that.
Okay, and that's a pretty dramatic shift and mindset shift. How did you go from loving chocolate and wanting to stuff your face to not wanting to look at it?
It's just a case of mindset. You say, I don't need this stuff. I don't want this stuff. And that's how it has to be. So it doesn't have to be that way. If I want it, I can go and have it. But I just don't want it. I don't feel like I need it. I knew it wasn't doing me any good, but I just couldn't help myself with a sweet craving. So, this stuff's not good for me. I'll leave it alone. So I have.
Well, a lot of guys, they know it's not good for them, but they do it anyways. So what changed?
Yeah.
What changed it for you?
Your program, the mindset, just going. Well, you've just committed to doing something. Commit to doing it. Don't half do it. I haven't had any alcohol in probably 3 or 4 months. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going on a cruise in 3 months. I'll probably have a couple of drinks there. No milk in my drinks anymore. Just straight black tea and straight black coffee. No sugar in any of that. If we're going to have porridge or oats, whatever they are, it's a little bit of salt in there, just add a little bit of flavour, a bit of dried fruit in amongst it, and that's it. Life's good. Food tastes incredible when you don't have a heap of sugar tossed in on top of it.
Right. Just give me a second. I'm taking notes. It's good stuff. And obviously, I mean, of course, I've been through the same, similar transformation myself, and and I help guys with this. Give me a second. Food taste. Right. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. The taste buds get hijacked. Like a lot of people get used to sugar and salt, very, very salty, very, very sugary. But if you just, there's a little bit of adjustment period, but then all of a sudden you're like, wow, real food tastes good too. Right?
Yeah. Look, get home and Michelle, she doesn't mind cooking. So when I'm actually at home, mine was probably fairly easy because where I work, I can very easily control it. I've got no distractions of supermarkets or anything like that. I can tell the chefs what I want, and they'll cook it for me, and they'll cook up for a week in advance. So the meal prep in advance is a big thing. I can get a week's worth of food, pick that up. It was Sunday night, and that's it for the week. I can go back and get cakes and pastries and biscuits and any matter of things and ice creams that I just don't bother with it. Just I know it's not good for me, so I just leave it well enough alone.
Right. It's right. Okay. So essentially meal prep in advance. So you did that with the meal prep. And I'm kind of curious, did you look at the goal sheet every day or no? Or did you kind of fill it out?
The goal sheet started. Okay. Yeah, I started, and I got probably three-quarters of the way through it. And then I just got to the stage, I got into a rhythm, and I kind of gone, I don't think I need this anymore because I'm actually comfortable with what I'm doing, and it's, like I said, it's the same all over again. Get out of bed, go to work, breakfast, lunch, tea, gym, back to bed. It's routine, it's a cycle. It's wash, rinse, repeat again. But it was just so simple. I didn't need to think about it. It became automated. It became a way of life. So there was no need to keep on going back to the goal sheet because I knew what I was doing was working because I dropped so much in the first month and a half. I did it for a month and a half, and I kind of going, yeah, I think I've got a hang of this. And I know I knew what I was looking for. I was looking for any signs that I was starting to stray off the path, which I didn't. I was looking for any changes in my sleeping habits, which I did have, but I'm fine with them. Everything's kind of just worked out really, really well.
And so it sounds like you thought like filling out that eating plan, the daily eating plan log, like it was useful for the first, like you think it was useful. Is that correct? Like, was it important?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, but you had to have a measuring or tracking tool. But I got to the stage now where I'm assuming you don't possibly use one because it's just so automated. It's like getting out of bed and brushing your teeth. It's just something that happens as a daily routine. That is what it is. It just becomes so accustomed to doing it. It's just second nature.
So in other words, the like filling out the daily eating log every day, it helped you just build the habits, and it didn't have to do a bunch. It just kind of helped you build the habits. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. It helped me build the habit, and it's just if you keep on doing the same thing for long enough, it becomes just your second nature to do it. So that's what I did. I just kept on doing it until I felt comfortable enough that, oh yeah, and it might have been a couple of days where I thought, I haven't filled out the log, so I'll go back in and I'll fill the log out. Then I go, yeah, right. I didn't need to go back to it because I must be getting used to the idea of what I'm doing. So I assumed that that I had reached that point where I didn't need it because it was just an automated response.
Right, which is cool. But in other words, like that, because just so you know, some guys, they'll fill it out for like a couple of days and then they'll stop. And I guess my question to you is, of course. So my question is like, one thing I was considering doing was like, for guys who have even more, extreme challenges and motivation issues. Because when I talked to you, you were just like, you were ready to make a change, right? You were like 100% committed. And so for guys who maybe are a little bit on the fence, maybe just like overseeing them and making sure they fill it out every single day could be useful to help them build habits. I don't know. You tell me.
Yes. No, look, that you need to do it. You need to hold yourself accountable. And that's, nobody else can do it. Only you can hold yourself accountable. And if it means filling out the log on a daily basis for 3 months to get that habit formed, well, that's what it needs to be. They need to have some accountability. They need to be able to track what they're doing. If you can't track it, you can't measure it. It didn't happen.
And so here's another thing. A lot of guys, they'll just fall off on, let's just say, the exercise, and then everything falls off. So it's like, oh, I can't do the exercise, then I just can't follow the program. It's like all or nothing mentality. And so, like, were you able to do the workouts the entire time, or were there any situations where you're like, okay, I got to take a little bit of time off? Like, tell me about that.
Look, down here at the moment, it's winter. So, and I'll tell you what it is in degrees Celsius. Like, it got down to 1 and 2 degrees Celsius.
Okay. That's cool.
Which is not flash. It's not great. The gym's not heated, and it's hard to leave a heated office to go back to to get changed in a nice heated room to go to a cold gym. It took a bit of pushing to get it done, but I did it because I knew what I wanted. I wanted to change, and I needed to have that change. So I didn't force myself to do something I didn't like. But I knew I had to do it, so I just went and did it. Just go, oh, well, this is what it needs to be. This is what it needs to be.
Well, here's the thing. So a part of, and the pregame, like, I had that kind of pregame checklist. So like before you get into the program, I have a checklist for you to do. And one of them is to complete a goal sheet, right? It's like, here's my vision, here's what I want, and then the reasons why it's important. I mean, did you view the reasons why your goal was important to you regularly, or what you're saying you had to do it? Like what helped motivate you? So number one, 2 questions. Number one, did you fill out and view that goal sheet regularly, right? Like the one where it had the goal and the reasons why. And number 2, like where was like that I have to do it coming from?
The goal sheet, I filled it out a couple of times.
Okay.
And then I just sat there and I just looked at it and I thought about it and I looked at it and I thought about it, and I didn't fill it out after that because I knew what I wanted. You gave me the tools to get started and head in the right direction. Gave me the right path to head. So I kind of got, I think I've pretty much got this. I know what I want. I've got the tools to do the job. So let's just go and do the job.
And the vision, but in terms of what you wanted, if I have it, I have it down here. I know what you told me, but like, what do you want? What did you want, or do you want?
Yeah.
What was the inspiration?
Because I can't remember. It was like 3 months ago, and I'll fair bit goes through the head in 3 months. But I knew the basics of what I wanted. And the basics of what I wanted was a 6-pack, and I wanted to look good and feel great. And I haven't quite got the 6-pack, but I feel incredible. And I look pretty bloody good too.
Right.
The head's still ugly, like that'll never change. But the rest of the body has just had a massive transformation.
And so, in other words, I think what's really interesting about this is you had an actual vision in your head.
Yes, I knew what I wanted to look like.
So that is what I want to talk about. Like, that is a difference, because a lot of guys, they have these amorphous things like, oh, I want to get to a healthy weight. If some guy tells you he wants to get to healthy weight, there's a 0% chance he's going to get results, in my opinion. It's like, what does that mean? Who gives a shit? Right? So
yep.
He doesn't give a shit. He's just saying that because he's desperate. But I guess what I'm getting at is, like, you had that vision and that. So when you were looking at the goal sheet, you were thinking, I'm assuming, about the vision. You were thinking about why this is important to you, correct? And it sounded like it almost seeped into your system so that you didn't constantly have to look at it, because it was like was there. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like it was a burning desire. It's something I've been wanting. And there's a picture of you standing in a pair of shorts and you're kind of looking off on a 45-degree angle with 6-pack, and I'm kind of going, that's not fucking Mark Perry's head on that shoulders, that's mine. And that's just all I did. I just transposed my fucking busted ass head onto your body and kind of go, yeah, I like that. That's what I want. That's what I'm going for.
I think it's great. And by the way,
that picture.
Continue.
Sorry.
No, continue.
Yeah, no, I just look. That's what I use. I just kind of like, you put my head on your shoulders, just visualised it. Yep, that's what I look like. That's what I look like when I get all this body fat off. That's how I'm going to look. And yeah, and then I did a bit just Google searching, looking around, and Jason Statham, same thing. I cut his head off, put my fucking head on his shoulders. They're kind of going, yeah, I think I could live with that. And between the two, I'm looking more like, not as looking more like your shape, which I'm more happy with, because I'm not a bulky person, never will be a bulky person muscle-wise, and I don't want to be. I want to be athletically fit. Look, it's just everybody's kind of looked at me and gone, wow, you've made a change. I actually had to go back to the doctor to get a cholesterol tablets. Body produces too much cholesterol. And walked in, sat down, she said, "Girls, yeah, great, fantastic." She said, "You've lost weight." I said, "Yes, I have." And she said, "How much, what do you weigh?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what it is today." So I went and climbed on the scales, and it was like 69 kilos. And she's gone, wow. She said, good on you. And she said, "That's where you need to stay." I said, "Yeah, no worries." And got off the scale. But I tell you what, there's a lot of naysayers out there that try to pull you back down. Oh, you look too thin, you're going to blow away, rah, 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 rah. Just ignore them.
Dude, give me a second. You're preaching to the choir right now. Give me a second. As you could imagine. Give me a second. I love that you're going to blow away. You're going to blow away. That's great. Because you know what? Like, even just for myself, it's like if for me, it's like my mom, or even, especially like if a guy's wife, it like looks at him as like, you look skinny. It's like a thunderbolt to his whole body, and he's like fried. He's over. He's gonna get fat again. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. So the fact that you how did you have the mindset to overcome that? Because I guess one thing with the program is, I have so much information in my head, it's like outrageous, and I'm just trying to I don't want to overload people with information. Although that is one of the key things, is like overcoming the subconscious barriers. And you just overcame a subconscious barrier just because you wanted it badly. But I'm kind of curious, was there anything else going on? Like, how did you overcome that?
Well, when I got told you're too skinny, you're going to blow away, you're right. It did kind of stop me. And I looked at him, and I had a bit of a grin inside. I said, yeah, no worries. And continued on my merry path, because it's about me. It's not about what they think or what they see or what they perceive. They don't know. And I actually did a weekly photo, took a photo of myself in the mirror every week. So what I started out at and where I finished inside 12 weeks. And I was scrolling on the phone, and the same person who happens to be my partner said, what's that photo? Because I have got my own little folder on the phone. And said, oh, Mike. And she said, I want to have a look. So I said, that's where I started, and this is where I am now. And this was probably about 3 weeks ago. And she went, wow. Oh, okay. And she was the one that said, you'll blow away. She said, wow. Yeah, okay.
Who was this? Who was this? Who was this?
This was my partner.
Oh, so your partner told you that?
Yeah, this is like the wife.
No,
She was the one who said, oh, you're going to blow away. And I said, oh, yeah, right. So I just had a bit of a grin to myself. But, yeah, you don't know what I'm doing. She thought I was just fucking losing way too much weight. And I just thought, nah, look, I know what I'm doing. So I just thought, I'm just going to ignore what the white noise that they're making. And when she saw the photo, she just went, wow.
The weekly, right. So you took the weekly photo in the mirror, and okay. I'm just trying to think. And then, so when she saw the photos, she was impressed, is what you're saying. And she was like, because what's so ironic about this is, like, you're just losing a bunch of body fat. You know what I mean? Like, you're not actually, you're just taking the fat off. You're not necessarily like getting like skinny. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. Anyways, it's I
know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So, yeah. This is a huge thing, especially, when you start getting, again, you're in the range where it can, you're in the 6-pack range. So anyways, okay. So moving on, in terms of like the reasons why this is important, you mentioned it was an unfulfilled goal, and it was just something you're like, that was the thing. It was an unfulfilled goal. and you just really, really wanted it. Was that like, were there any other reasons that were like, that really
Yes,
pushed you or
yes,
what?
that, yeah, no, and look, I hadn't found the gate to open to walk down that path, and that's when I started doing. There's a million and one different programs out there, and they're all bloody hyping themselves up to the buggery, and there's monster guys out there that look, it's absolutely incredible. So either photoshopped or they're on the juice. But I wanted something I knew there was no bullshit, there was no hype, and consistent results over a long, long period of time, which you've got. So that's why I came with your program, because quite simply, you've got consistent results over a long period of time. It's not photoshopped, and it's not steroids.
Right. And so, by the way, we're going to be getting to kind of where you are right now and help you get to where you want to be in a second. And so, I was just going to ask, okay, so we've covered, so I have a bunch of questions here. We actually covered a bunch of it, so I'm just kind of going through it. You mentioned the word, okay. So yep. You mentioned, so a couple more things. You mentioned, you mentioned the workouts, and they could be harder. Like, what did you mean by that?
I think it's probably a more self-limiting thing than it is actually the program.
That's fine. And by the way,
maybe
continue.
Maybe it was just my interpretation of it, because I got to the stage where I was kind of thinking, this is probably a little bit too. Well, actually, maybe the way I saw it was, I actually had a great workout in the gym. I got back to my accommodation and had a shower and had tea, and I felt like I'd never actually done it, and that was kind of like the disappointing thing. I felt like, I haven't even done anything. I don't feel like I've been to the gym. And the next morning I'd wake up and I'd feel amazing. And I'm kind of going, still don't feel like I've been to the gym. I still haven't had any muscle soreness. And I'm kind of going, I don't know. And look, the results are proof in the pudding, but it just felt like maybe it's just all the rubbish that was floating around inside my system that was making me feel like I'd actually done something, out of breath, making tired muscles and all the rest of it. I think maybe that's possibly part of it. There's not so much rubbish floating around your system to clog up the fat loss and muscle growth.
Right. So in other words, it's like it wasn't completely destroying you, and that's what you expected. You expected to be like in a pile of mush by the end time it was done, versus, it was something that was more manageable, and it just got you results anyways.
Yeah, I got the results, and I didn't actually have to lift 300 pounds in deadlifts and bench press the same, and walk over broken glass. But I got the results with the less effort, and that seems a little bit strange.
Right. It's and so what about the workouts would you like to make harder, or would you like to improve? I'm just kind of curious, or would be better for you in your opinion?
Look, for me, because I've been playing around in the gym for a little while, I've just I'm doing a lot more body weight stuff than I ever used to, and find that's it's more beneficial for me. I actually had to go on Monday night. And I ended up I'll see what will happen. The first set of push-ups was 80, and then by the time I'd finished for the session, I'd done like 300 push-ups. And I thought, wow, it wasn't that long ago I'd be struggling to do 20 in a row, let alone 80. My skipping's improved. Like, I skipped to warm up because I don't like running, and there's nowhere to run around there unless you're going to get run over by somebody. So I skipped, and I've gone from basically struggling to skip 50 skips to 550, 600 skips just as a warm-up. So there's been a huge increase in my fitness levels. Actually, the poor dog at home, when I go home, the poor dog, I can near wear the legs off him if we walk that much.
Interesting. Okay. And so in terms of, like, were you doing the 3 strength circuit workouts a week, or were you doing anything else on the other days, or what did that look like?
No, just the 3. Just the 3. Like, that's all I do. Just go and do the three. Look, usually the fourth night or the fifth night's either travel or I'm tied up in a meeting somewhere. So I made sure that I got there at least absolute minimum 3 times a week. That was the gold standard. That's the standard I stuck to.
Okay. And so that was manageable for you to do?
Oh, God, yeah. It's cold and wet and miserable over here, and it has been snowing. But, yeah, no, that was, apart from getting out and getting into a cold gym, and going in with goosebumps and leaving with goosebumps because it was that cold. No, it's very manageable.
So in other words, it was more about the part that was more challenging was just getting over the excuses, which a lot of other guys would have made, right? So a lot of other guys are making excuses versus just doing it a few times a week for 30 minutes, which most people can do if they don't make excuses. Right?
Well, I'll tell you how my day starts. Like over here at the moment, I was here at work at 3:45 this morning, so 3:45 a.m. I'll leave at 5 p.m. So I'm basically doing 13 hours a day. I'll go back to my accommodation. I'll get changed. I'll go to the gym. So I spend half an hour, probably sometimes 45 minutes in there. Just depends on what's going on and what's available. 45 minutes, come back to my accommodation, have a shower, have something to eat, and I'm usually in bed by somewhere between 7:45 and 8. And then I'm back up again at the same time in the morning, back at work. So I'm doing, I don't think there's many people that can say that they're working that many hours a day on a consistent basis. And most of them are working 8, maybe 10 hours a day if they're lucky.
Right. All right. Well, I guess you can do it. So, and in terms of your quick thoughts on the scoreboard. So the scoreboard, it sounds like, was really good for you to kind of keep the accountability. I mean, you tell me, was that something that was useful?
Yeah. Oh, yes. That was so useful because, and so again, if you can't track it, you can't measure it. So keeping score like that, I kind of going, righto, I knew what I had for that week, and that's the result I got. I knew what I had for that week, and that's the result I got. So I knew I was going in the right direction. So it helped keep me accountable because I knew that I was going in the right direction. And it was measurable. The loss was measurable. So I'm kind of going, wow, I had no expectations to drop that much weight. Nor I dropped 11 centimetres off my waist. So none of it I would have understood or knew unless I could measure it.
Right. Okay. And so you were okay with filling out the daily eating log and the spreadsheet. And we talked about we can make it a little bit, better looking. I guess what I was thinking about doing was just, there's like a progress tracker in the spreadsheet where you can like track your waist and everything. I was just trying to simplify things. And I think maybe even separating out the daily eating log, making separate spreadsheets. So there's like a daily eating log, then there's like body stats. I guess my question, sorry if I'm rambling, is did you like how it was with everything in the spreadsheet?
Yeah, look, I love Excel.
Okay, right. So you just opened it up and did it.
Just opened up and did it. And but if there was a bit more colour in it,
right?
Just so it fucking pops at people. Even you had little gifts sitting in there. I don't know. That's something. I'm just a black and white spreadsheet person. That's what I like. But if it had some colours in there amongst it, so it visualised them and grabbed them. So I kind of went, well, that was great. I went and saw something that I can change colour, or it was, they know what they're looking for. They're just going, oh, bang, that's the yellow screen. That means that's me eating log, and bang, that's me red screen. That means it's this, or I don't know. It's just a case of everything's visual nowadays, and if it had some colours in amongst it, or some art or something like that, maybe it was just a bit more visually appealing to the masses.
Right.
And I don't know if most people actually know how to use Excel spreadsheets. I think you most people do nowadays. Right. It's a fairly simple thing to navigate around.
And so in terms of the Facebook group, of course, I've been it's been a little bit hit or miss in terms of people engaging. I think you've done a bit yourself. I'm kind of curious, like, was it useful to be part of that Facebook group, or?
Yes, yes, very, very much so. It makes you feel like you're not alone.
It
You're
makes you
not
feel like
out there
what?
trailblazing. It made you feel like you weren't alone. You knew there was support there. You knew you had a group of people, a group of like-minded people doing the same thing as you, and there was no judgment by anybody on anything. Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, you're right, it's a personal journey, but to have that support group, knowing that the support group's sitting there, if you need them, that's invaluable. That's a safety net.
Right. And okay. And so, what are your and so in terms of your goal now, it's just to continue. You just want to continue getting the six pack. I mean, that's where you are right now.
Yep. I want the defined six pack. The lifestyle that I've adopted now won't change. I'm so incredibly happy with that. My moods are a lot better. I'm a lot fitter. I'm doing things. Actually, I spent 4 hours on a brush cutter the other day, trimming up a hedge, and it was all overhead. By the end of the 4 hours, my arms were ready to fall off. Got up the next day and thought, this is going to cane. And, yeah, nothing. Good as gold. Yep, righto, let's go and do something else. Yeah, it was just incredible. Like, you usually used to get so much lactic acid build up in the muscles and that, and I'm just again, assuming it's from the rubbish that was floating around inside my system. But, yeah, none of that happens anymore. It's kind of like, yeah, I shouldn't feel this good.
Interesting. All right. And do you have any kind of fears or concerns, after the program in terms of what to do next?
There is no end. That's the be all and end all. There is no end. It was the start of a journey. It'll finish when I die. It's now how my life is. It's like those who go through. I don't know, there's probably not a real good analogy, but those who lose arms and legs, you learn to adapt to and lose their sight or lose their hearing. You learn to adapt, or you die. So I've adapted, moving forward. Dinosaurs didn't adapt; they died.
Right. So there's no end to the program, which is the right attitude. And so, what about the guys, or who are like, "Oh, it's over in 12 weeks." I mean, what would you tell them, or what do you say?
It's never over. The only time it's over is when you stop breathing. It's only over because you want it to be over. That's the thing. It's never over. It just becomes the norm. It becomes the way you live your life,
And so,
and it's a better way to live your life.
right. And so, the fact that you had this vision and you didn't put like a time date on it, because I think one of the tricky things is by the way, with the goal sheet, and I'm thinking about changing this, is I'm like, okay, you want to hit this goal by this date. Usually that's a good thing because it gets people to work, but when they don't hit it, then they just fall off the wagon, so to speak. And so I'm curious, like, was it the vision that helped you kind of continue and not get too wrapped up in the time? Or like, how did you make that shift from, oh, it's not just 12 weeks, it's a lifestyle? Does that make sense? Like, some people would just not be able to
Yeah.
do it.
Well, there was a couple of things that helped me get my head around it was more than 12 weeks. The first one was you've extended that 12-week transformation weigh-in past the 12-week period.
What does that
So
mean?
there was no, where you've got the dates down the left-hand side of the column of your Excel spreadsheet and
Right.
where you put our weights in, there's more than 12 weeks worth of dates there. So that gives you the thing, oh, hang on a minute, there's a 12-week mark, but he's continued on with that. So we just continue on putting the weights in. I don't know if we did that on purpose or not, but yeah, there's like the 12 week, you got your 12 entries or 13 entries. The dates continue on down on the left-hand side of that spreadsheet. So you kind of go, no, well, I've got to keep on doing this. So you can't see end date, or you can if you keep on scrolling down, you'd actually see an end date. But if those dates went down for another 100, 150 columns, people say, oh, there's no end date. They can't find an end date. They just keep doing it.
Interesting. Okay, so in other words, like I had the current weight and the target weight, and you obviously blew past it. And by the way, the other tricky thing is like, do you think the fact that kind of the current weight and the target weight as a focus versus a visualization, I mean, they're kind of both useful. Do you have any opinion on that? Because I think, there's a current weight, there's a target weight, and the idea is you keep on that, you keep on filling out the spreadsheet until you hit your target weight or you go past it. At least that was my opinion. Of course, if you want to keep on going, that's great, but that was my thinking. I'm curious if you had any thoughts.
Actually, what you said when we had our first initial conversation, and I said, "Oh, look, I want to get down to whatever it was," and pardon me, I was kind of going, "Oh, righto," and then when I got to it, I kind of got, "Oh, I'm here already. Oh, okay. Well, let's just see how much further we can go."
Right.
And because I knew that I was only part way through this transformation, I'm kind of going, well, I've got another 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it happened to be. Oh, let's just keep going and see where it ends.
So here's the thing. So some of the guys, have more weight to lose, and by the time the 12 weeks is over, they still haven't hit their target goal. Do you think the goal should be smaller, or what do you you see what I'm saying? Like, what do you think it should be for them?
No, set stretch targets. That's the best thing. Set stretch targets. If you don't achieve your goal, it's no big deal. It's not so you're going to die. It's just a case of you just need to go work work on it a little bit more over a longer period of time. You will get there. But it's a case of most people, you go, oh, well, I've got 12 weeks and I haven't got to my goal. But you've made that choice to change because you need the change. You need to change. So you've taken a step in the right direction. Whether you achieve the goal, the weight goal or not, it's pretty much immaterial to the fact that you've actually recognised that you've got changes to be made. You've got an issue and you need to fix it. And that's to me I realised I had an issue. I knew I had to fix it. I had no expectations of where I was going to end. I knew what I wanted to be, what the goal was, the loss was, but when I got there, I kind of went, well, let's see how much further this can go and where this can go.
Right. Okay. And so I a couple more quick questions, but I'm just kind of curious, like, would you be cool with sending me the kind of some of the photos so far? I mean, just to see, so I could see the transformation?
No, happy to send you the photos, no worries at all.
Okay, cool. And I was going to ask, and it's interesting because like this conversation, it's like this, you've transformed, like a lot of guys I speak to, it's like they lose, they might lose some weight, but you've had a full transformation, which is awesome. So I'm like pumped, I'm super, super pumped for you. And I guess what I'm getting at is I think that you could seriously like help other guys in terms of, make that transformation. So with that said, if you'd be open to it, I think some type of like really quick like testimonial, or basically, like sharing like a story as to like what you did. Are you open to that? So basically, it might be like a quick video or a photo.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Oh no, look, videos. No, not real good with videos. But I'm more than happy to write a testimonial and flick you the photos. Now, actually, one of the guys actually had a look at the photos and he went, wow. He said, don't you ever smile? I said, at that time of the morning, no, I don't smile. This was like I'd taken a photo at like 3:30 in the morning. I was still fairly bleary-eyed when I take the photos. So I don't smile. But the fact of the matter is, it's not so much about what the head looks like because it's ugly. It's a case of the transformation from being a podgy person who's actually lost nearly 2 trouser sizes and 1 hat size. It doesn't matter that I didn't smile. It's just that the body transformation has just been incredible.
Right. Okay. Cool. And so,
actually, I'll have a go at the video. I'll have a go at the video of it. We'll see how it comes out. But I'm not going to say.
I get it. No, I get it. I totally get it. Videos are tricky and lighting is a pain in the ass, but I can obviously give you a couple ideas. I mean, you can give it a go. And if it doesn't go as you plan, that's fine. You can give it a go. But I'll follow up with more information. Okay, cool. Give me a second. Information. Yeah, no, I think that's great. And do you have any questions for me?
No. Look, it was a big leap of faith. Because the current exchange rate, like you offered a fantastic price. Well, you doubled that, and that's what I paid in my money. So that was a fairly big leap of faith for me to spend that much money to make the transformation. So I wanted it, and I wanted it bad. And the money side of it now becomes totally immaterial because I'm a happier, healthier, better-looking person, body-wise anyhow. And yeah, life's fantastic.